Welcome to Factual America, where we dig beneath the surface to reveal the truths others ignore. Today, we're tackling a question you may have never really thought much about. Who really owns America's farmland? Is it hard-working family farmers, massive corporate agribusinesses, or could it be foreign billionaires and even rival governments? The answer is more complicated and more shocking than you'd ever imagine. So buckle up, because by the end of this video, you might never look at a cornfield, a wheat farm, or that vast horizon of soybeans quite the same way again. Let's start with the myth most of us grew up with, the iconic image of the independent American farmer tilling his land, owned and passed down through generations, a backbone of our country's freedom, resilience, and prosperity. There's a certain nostalgia tied to those red barns, well-worn tractors, and family names on the mailbox. But how accurate is that as picture today? The truth is, about 40% of American farmland is now rented, not owned, by the farmer who works it. In some states like Iowa, it's even higher. Families who held land for generations have been selling, sometimes by necessity, sometimes by choice. And when that land goes up for sale, you'll be surprised at whose checkbooks are open and ready. Here's the twist. A staggering amount of farmland in the United States is being snapped up by investors and corporations. In fact, according to the USDA, nearly 30% of America's farmland is now owned by non-farmers. Some are pension funds, some are Wall Street firms, and many you may have never even heard of. Who are these shadowy new landlords? Take, for example, the Harvard Management Company and TIAA, which manages teacher pensions. They own hundreds of thousands of acres collectively. The reason? Farmland isn't just about food anymore. It's an investment vehicle, often more stable than gold or real estate. Big money investors see dirt and see dollar signs. There are also some very familiar names on the list. Let's talk about Bill Gates. Yes, that Bill Gates, the Microsoft billionaire. As of 2023, Gates became the single largest private owner of farmland in the United States, amassing over 275,000 acres across dozens of states. Why? Some say it's about sustainable agriculture. Others worry about the power that comes with controlling the food supply. And Bill Gates isn't the only tycoon in the game. Billionaires like Ted Turner and the Mormon Church also own vast stretches. But while American buyers owning American land is one issue, another question sends a chill up many spines. How much of our farmland is being bought by foreigners? Let's get the facts straight. As of the latest data, foreign entities control nearly 40 million acres of U.S. farmland. That's roughly the size of Iowa and Connecticut, combined. The largest foreign owners? Canada, then the Netherlands, then Italy, Germany, and increasingly China. What's truly alarming is the type of land being bought. It's not just remote swaths in the middle of nowhere. Some foreign investors are buying land near critical infrastructure, military bases, water resources, and major transportation nodes. Many in Congress are sounding the alarm, worried about national security implications. China in particular has drawn intense scrutiny. While Chinese entities currently own about 2% of foreign-held U.S. farmland, their purchases have surged dramatically in the past decade. In Texas and North Dakota, for instance, Chinese-owned companies now possess land within spitting distance of Air Force bases. This isn't just a business story. It raises the specter of espionage, food security threats, and economic leverage. You might be wondering, are there any laws restricting foreign ownership of American farmland? The shocking answer is, in many states, there aren't. Just 7 states have outright bans on foreign ownership, and most others have patchwork or easily circumvented limitations. In places desperate for cash, almost anyone with the money can buy in. Why should we care? For one, ownership means control, not just of what's grown or how it's produced, but who profits. When Wall Street owns the land, profits go to shareholders, not rural communities. When foreign governments own the land, there are questions about whose interests guide agricultural policy, supply chains, and even government influence. Now, here's something you might not expect. Some powerful corporations buying up land aren't after food at all. They're after water rights, mineral rights, or even the carbon credits generated by conservation projects. In some cases, land is stripped of resources and left barren, with local communities holding the bag. Let's talk environmental impact for a second. As local farmers are priced out by investment firms, the trend leans toward massive monoculture operations. Huge fields of just corn or soybeans for animal feed or ethanol, rather than diverse, sustainable family farms growing actual food for your table. This means more chemical use, less biodiversity, more erosion, and ultimately, more vulnerability to pests and disease. But there's another twist. A growing portion of farmland isn't being tilled at all. Corporations are buying it up for green investments, carbon sequestration, reforestation credits, even solar arrays, and locking land out of food production entirely. Is this environmental stewardship or just another way to make a buck off the American heartland? All of this leaves real American farmers, our food producers, in a bind. They're already squeezed by low crop prices, rising costs, and unpredictable weather. Now, they're often forced to rent land owned by faceless LLCs, foreign conglomerates, or distant pension funds. It raises tough questions. Can they make a living? Will rural America survive? Let's not ignore the political angle. For decades, state and federal governments have subsidized agriculture, supposedly to support the American farmer. Yet more money than ever is winding up in the pockets of absentee landlords and corporations, who often benefit from government payouts without ever setting foot on the soil. This all begs the question, what does this mean for our food security? If someone in Beijing controls thousands of acres in Texas, or Wall Street decides to convert Iowa cornfields into carbon farms, who decides what we grow, or even if we grow? Some experts warn that, left unchecked, outside ownership of farmland is a ticking time bomb for America's food independence. Here's another curveball. Urban sprawl is gobbling up rich, productive land at a record pace. In a cruel twist, some of the biggest buyers of farmland near cities aren't farmers or investors at all. They're real estate developers paving over topsoil that took thousands of years to make. So, recapping these twists. First, more and more land is leaving family hands, moving to corporations and outside investors. Second, foreign acquisition of farmland is not only real, it's expanding, beyond what most Americans realize. And third, the land is being used for everything from food and water grabs to environment credits and real estate. You might wonder, what can be done? Calls are growing for measures to limit foreign ownership, regulate absentee landlords, and give priority to actual farmers, not investment funds, when land goes on the market. Some states are pushing right of first refusal laws so farmers have the first shot at buying land before it's sold to outsiders. Others are advocating for tax incentives to keep land in family hands, or even for new programs to help young Americans get into farming. Because if all the land is held by billionaires or Beijing, who will grow the food in the generations to come? But to be fair, not all foreign buyers are enemies, and not all investors are villains. Sometimes investment brings innovation. Sometimes it keeps land in production that might otherwise go fallow. The real question is, are we maintaining control and stewardship of our own food system? Or are we selling out future generations for a quick buck today? As an American, as someone who eats, and as a citizen who believes in national sovereignty, this issue touches every one of us. Next time you pass a crop field or buy fruits and vegetables at the market, remember, the land that grows our food might be owned by someone very far from home. So, now that you know the truth, are you concerned? Should America restrict foreign ownership of farmland? Should Wall Street and billionaires be allowed to dominate the industry? Or should we protect family farms and our rural heritage? We want to hear your thoughts. Drop your opinions in the comments below, and let's get the conversation rolling. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that bell so you never miss an episode. What other burning questions or hidden truths about America do you want to see us tackle? Tell us what you want to see right here on Factual America. Thanks for watching, and remember, when it comes to America's land, the answers truly are shocking.